How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? The arsonist has oddly shaped feet. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Oh, you look nice tonight. Maybe don't wear a bra next time. No, I don't. No, you, not her. She's ugly. What's her name? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Appleboys podcast. I'm Josh. I'm here tonight with Corey.
Hey there. I'm Corey.
I'm here with Rob.
Hello. My name is Robert.
Unfortunately, Jimmy's not with us tonight. I heard he didn't make it back from San Francisco. Is that true?
He made it back, but not in one piece.
Not in one piece. Did he... You know, we talked about the possibility of visiting some houses of ill repute. Did he pick something up at one of those houses and now he's recovering?
Man, he came down with something. I don't know how he got it, but events occurred, and let's just say he made it home, but he's a different man now.
I'd like to know more about that. Please expand.
You want to know about San Francisco?
What'd you guys do while you were there?
There's a lot of stuff that happened. We visited Mecca, a.k.a. Applebee's of San Francisco. That was quite lovely.
You guys sent a picture of that. I think that was actually the only picture that we got of the trip. And we posted it on the Appleboys Twitter account. You can follow that at Appleboys Pod. And it looked like a pretty sweet Applebee's. It's much different than our local Applebee's establishment.
Quite swanky.
That is by far the nicest Applebee's I've ever seen. It was in the Fisherman's Wharf area of San Francisco, and we didn't actually go in, but we saw it from the outside, and my oh my, did it look fabulous.
How dare you? How dare you get that far?
I can't believe you got that close to the Applebee's and didn't just like drop in to have a quick Miller Lite.
Just QP, you know?
I do love a QP, but we had the women with us, and Applebee's is for the boys.
That's about the only fair excuse that I'll accept for why you didn't go. What's a QP, Corey?
It's a quick pitcher.
Yeah.
Where we're getting off work and got about 30 minutes before we need to get home and just go ahead and down a QP.
Yep. Sometimes even less than 30 minutes. What else did you guys do? You guys traveled out there specifically for a music festival, right?
Yeah, that's right. We actually went to a music festival called Second Sky, featuring Porter Robinson. That's his big show. It's very different from a regular music festival. It's not really themed. He just takes artists that he really likes and basically plays a little bit of everything. So just as an example, one of the bigger acts there was Madeon, and of course Porter Robinson played his show, but another big act that I was really excited about was Jacob Collier, who was there and who is very, very different from either of those acts, and that was really, really cool to see.
I must be really old because I know Porter Robinson, and that is it.
Well, that's one more than I knew. I was sitting here thinking, I've never heard of any of these people. So,
you guys don't know who Jacob Collier is?
No, can't say I do.
It's no. That's my big audio demo that I do.
I thought that was Kanye West.
That's another one of them.
So what type of music is this?
The way that I like to describe it is imagine Stevie Wonder, but today and British.
Still blind?
No.
Well, that's a pretty big difference.
He plays a bunch of different instruments, and he plays just kind of a happy, uppity soul kind of music.
Is his music the kind of music that you might find on the soundtrack of Trolls Part 3?
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, I just think of happy and cheerful music, and I think of the Trolls movies.
And you just got sunshine in your pocket.
It's kind of like a funky Justin Timberlake, I guess. I don't know.
So like Justin Timberlake from Trolls.
Yeah, he's pretty funky in Trolls.
Like a little
Him and
bit.
Anna Kendrick,
except for really good.
What? Justin Timberlake's great.
Yeah, that was great. I don't know
Justin Timberlake is great.
Didn't they win an Oscar for that?
Either an Oscar or an Emmy or a Grover or something.
A Grover? What is a Grover?
What in the fuck is a Grover?
I don't know. Just
I
sounded.
feel like you made that
good.
up.
I did. So, what happened at the show? Like, so what was it? When I think of a festival, I think of like days long, like Woodstock, Bonnaroo type. Was it something like that where it's just like you're there for ages and it just is never ending, or what?
So I'll get to the show in a second here. Long story short, it was a 1-day show, but let me just kind of paint the picture here. So our flight left at about 5:30 in the morning. So we had to be at the airport at around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So that was already a pretty long day. We flew across the country, and we got to San Francisco at somewhere around 10 or 11 a.m. And from there, we kind of did our thing for the first day, and then the plan was to get to the Airbnb, immediately take a nap, and prepare for the evening, because we actually had an evening concert for the same day in which we had a flight that took off at 5:30 in the morning. And it didn't go well. So we get to this, I was thinking that doors for this show were going to be at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. No, sir. Doors were at 10 o'clock.
Oh, God. This sounds like when I found out the Dead Mouse was going on at midnight.
Yeah. It's a very similar vibe, except for we had flown the entire day, and we were on Eastern time, and this is Pacific time. So doors were basically at 1 o'clock in the morning for us, in which we took off and were up and about at like 3:30. So we're already working on a 24-hour day here, and we're in basically a nightclub where the actual act that we came to see doesn't start until about 1 in the morning. So it was just a very, very long day. And towards the end of the day, there absolutely were some enhancements that had to be obtained in order to keep going.
Did you do speed?
I don't know what that means.
Fair. Isn't that all legal in can't you do whatever you want in San Francisco?
You can do weed. Weed is legal, like high test octane weed.
Weed seems like the opposite effect of what you would want if you're running on empty.
It kind of depends. For the most part, that's accurate. Like if you're already running on empty, and some people get energized by the weed, and I don't understand that at all, because if I'm already sleepy and I ingest it, it's fucking lights out. That's it for me.
So you flew across the country, which, by the way, flying from East Coast to West Coast is kind of neat because it's like time traveling where you're like gaining time. Did you have I assume you didn't do a direct flight. Did you have layovers?
Yeah, we had a layover in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas is cool. And then the show that you went to that night was not part of the festival?
No, that was actually like a local like dubstep show, which is not really my thing. It was fine. Like it was fun, but it wasn't anything that I was particularly interested in. And honestly, I was kind of halfway of the mindset that I was like, we might go and check it out, and if we have to leave, like whatever, it was $30. I'm not tripping about $30. I would rather sleep than, be at a show where I'm just like a zombie on the dance floor, right? And actually, interestingly enough, Jimmy like totally agreed with me. He was on board. He was like, yeah, we'll go and check it out. Doors are at 10. It's going to be late. We're probably going to be exhausted. It's cool if we have to leave at some point. And I was like, that's great. We're on board. We're good. We'll, sit through the first couple of people and we'll go from there. Well, 11:30, midnight comes up somewhere in there, and the opener has just left. And I'm like, okay, cool. Main guy's coming up. We'll get to hear some of his set, leave, no problem. No, sir. Another opener comes in and plays an extended set, plays about an hour and a half. And I was thinking like 20 minutes into his set, like, I'm going to die. I am so tired. This is bad. I'm going to tell Jimmy, hey, I'm about to fall over. Let's get out of here. So I walk up to Jimmy, and Jimmy is clearly fucking strong. He is in full-fledged power mode. And I walk up, and I'm like, hey, man, how you feeling? And he is just dancing and oscillating and just goes, I'm feeling great.
He's oscillating?
He's like vibrating just about. And he just goes, I feel great. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're not fucking leaving. So I'm hesitant to continue. I'm like, I need to sit down or something. And Jimmy's girlfriend was there, and I looked over at her, and she is also fallen over. So I'm like, hey, can we do like a democracy kind of thing? Can you help me out? And she was like, yeah, I'll ask. And I look over at their conversation, and Jimmy, I just see Jimmy go, woo, and just keep dancing. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're staying for a little bit longer. He's having a good time. So we stay for most of the show. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're actually staying in Oakland because staying in San Francisco is very, very expensive. So we have to trek back to the Airbnb from San Francisco to Oakland, and it's kind of a long drive, and we don't have a car, so we're, Ubering and using public transit to get there. And long story short, we get home at like 2 a.m. and just pass out for hours and hours for the next day. And then we have to wake up and go to the show, like the main show that we flew across the country to get to. And that starts, the first act plays at, I think they start at like 11 o'clock in the morning. So it was rough. It was very, very rough.
Sounds like a marathon session.
I mean, it basically was. It was basically just show, sleep, okay, second show, let's go. And second show was great. Doors were, like I said, at 11, and Porter, closed the show, and I think that he stopped at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So it was every bit of 12 hours, and I mean, great show. Very, very highly recommend if you guys want to go next year, but it was just a lot to be involved with for sure.
I think Josh and I are going to pass on that one.
Yes,
but,
some of you guys, I wish sometimes that we had video with the podcast, because whenever he said, if you guys want to go next year, Corey and I immediately looked at each other and we were just like, no way.
See, by you guys, I meant our listeners who are, available to go.
Say it. The cool people.
Yeah, younger than
young and spry.
I know what
Is
you
that
mean.
what you want to hear?
All right, so I have some follow-up thoughts and questions based on some of the things that you just said. So it's clear to me that when Jimmy is at a show and he's, as you say, feeling very powerful, very strong, he likes to dance and likes to have a good time, likes to cut the rug, if you will.
Sure.
Are you a get in the mosh pit, dance kind of guy, or are you one of those like stand at the back and just watch everybody else do their thing?
It depends on the level of toxicity in the system.
In the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, you were not toxic enough to get down with the sickness.
So,
Ooh-ah.
okay, so first off,
That's a lot of System of a Down and Disturbed and
toxicity enough to get down with the sickness.
I don't know.
I like that.
I can tell you right now, I used to be a mosh pit guy and like get in the floor and like really get into the dancing and stuff. I can remember a specific moment where I told myself that I was too old for mosh pits.
You're not that guy anymore, Corey.
I'm not that guy anymore. I really am not. I was going to see Lamb of God, which is perhaps the finest American metal band that has ever existed.
Agreed.
And I'm having a good time. It's one of the most metal shows I've ever been to in my life. I'm having a great time. Gojira opens up. They're much larger now. They were just some boys from France that came here to play some songs for us. And then it was Machine Head, and they're just thrashing and are
Machine
incredible.
Head Kelly?
Oh God, just no.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Then after that, it was Trivium, and this was in Florida, so that was basically kind of like a hometown show for them at the time. So the crowd's going nuts, and I'm in the pit for all of this. I'm just having a great time. And then Lamb of God's getting ready to come out, and the crowd, whenever the band is about to get ready to come out, like everyone's chanting Lamb of God, Lamb of God, and like the circle pit's starting to open up and that kind of stuff. And then this giant linebacker looking motherfucker is like taking in the energy of the crowd, and he's like the only person in the middle. He's got his shirt off and he's like fucking huge. And then he takes a mouthpiece and he puts it in. And I'm like, I'm too old for this. That's when I was like, that's when I was like 25.
The mouthpiece is a little much.
Like, this dude's getting ready to kill somebody. Like, he's there to cause pain.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay with that.
I'm not there for it.
Yeah, that's a lot. Hey, whenever Gojira opened up, is there anything that the lead singer had said?
So his English is much better now, by the way. If you have a chance to go see them, they're fantastic. They are a melodic kind of groove metal, very technical, but they come out and dude doesn't speak hardly a lick of English, but you can tell he's kind of rehearsed this. He comes out, he goes, "Hello, we are Gojira. We will play songs for you." And then they just proceed to just and just everyone in the crowd's like, "What the fuck?" Because like none of us had ever heard of them before, but Randy Blythe was a huge fan of them, so like he brought them on their first U.S. tour, and they're incredible.
I got to be honest with you, I had no idea Gojira was French. I definitely thought it was Japanese, and I thought it meant Godzilla.
I mean, both of those things are true, but they're apparently fans of the kaiju, and
I thought it was a
French
Japanese band.
And no, they are very French.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. So follow-up number 2, what do you think the chances are? Well, first of all, do you have video of Jimmy's oscillating as you described it?
Now, is this like from the waist down or whole body type stuff?
Oh, no, this is like, imagine him trying to hula hoop.
I was just thinking of hula hoop. That's literally what was in my mind.
I was trying to picture it myself. I was like, this is either a hula hoop or like some major gyration to go beyond gyrating to oscillating.
Oh, no. He's in full hula hoop mode. No hula hoop. And
oh, that's so great.
He's having a good time, man. And I was trying to be on that level. I was like, okay, I can take influence from here. I can make it happen. But I was so out of gas.
I don't think you can like fake it till you make it with oscillating. Maybe gyrating, not oscillating. Like you're either in oscillation mode or you're not. So the question though, is there video?
I don't think there is.
That's unfortunate.
I've got some pictures, and those pictures we can potentially make a super bonus.
Yeah, so my thought process behind asking if there was video is I think Jimmy oscillating would make a really fantastic animated GIF for our Patreon subscribers.
Oh man, I love that.
And
I love the thought of that.
I want to use that as like a Twitter react emoji, and I've been looking into so on iOS now, and I think they have it on Android as well, you can download these sticker packs, and you can like react to messages in iMessage with stickers, and they can be animated. And I really, really like the idea of oscillating Jimmy being a react emoji sticker that is a bonus for our Patreon subscribers. So if there is no video, then we're going to need to either convince Jimmy or trick Jimmy into doing this on camera so that we can recreate this moment and make it happen.
Oh man, I would love that so much.
He's not here to defend himself, but he needs to make up for the first week where he was talking about how he wasn't a big fan of the Miller Lite and indicating that
That's true.
It's not very good. So
yeah, Jimmy's
he's
a
got
bitch.
to make some penance for that.
Got to take one for the team on here, bud.
All right, so obviously you were on the struggle bus for the first night, and then you got a little bit of sleep when you got back to the Airbnb, which, by the way, was the Airbnb nice?
Funny you should ask. So the Airbnb was nice, but it was an odd situation. So whenever I get an Airbnb and I'm out and about, I will 10 times out of 10 get a separate living space from the host of the Airbnb. And what I mean by that is usually it's either going to be whole apartment, whole house. Those are the two preferred. Or I'm fine with like a basement, separate living space kind of area where there's a clear dividing line between my space and the homeowner space. And I'm fine with either of those outcomes as long as I have my own space, and if the homeowner lives there, they have their own space, that's fine.
So I'm assuming based on what you're saying that was not the case in this Airbnb?
Correct. So the Airbnb was hosted by kind of an older gay couple, which was actually pretty cool, but it was definitely not what I was accustomed to. I was not used to sharing a living space with anyone, and I just wake up in the morning and go to use the bathroom, and on the way, the bathroom was right next to one of the guys' office, and he'd be like, "Hey, good morning," as I go to take my morning pee, and it was just not what I wanted. It wasn't great. But that being said, the Airbnb was pretty sweet. It was a pretty decent sized house, and decent sized house in Oakland, California.
It's like 1,400 square feet.
It was about 1,500 square feet. And guess the Zestimate on this house, by the way.
$600K.
No, it's more than that. You said it's Oakland, not San Francisco, right?
It's in the East Oakland area.
Is there a yard at all?
Yes.
Front and back?
Yep.
3.7 million.
Wow.
All right, so we have two extreme high and low end offers here. No.
1.2 million.
You're real close. It was about 1.4.
Wow.
Yeah. 1,500 square foot house, and the yard was maybe about 10,000 square feet.
The reason I went so high was because you said it had a yard, and I know how rare that is in California, but I think the number I gave would have been more accurate in San Francisco rather than Oakland.
That's correct. If
You
you're
said
in,
the yard was 10,000 square feet.
I think, yeah, that's about right.
That's a huge yard.
No, it's not.
Really?
No.
I don't think they usually measure yards in square feet. I think it's like
Generally,
acres.
I mean, and it's also
Hold on.
like
Let me Google this shit.
that would be like 100 by 100.
It was probably about 30 by like 150.
That's still 4,500.
Maybe
That is
my
less than
estimate
half
was
of
off.
what you said.
Maybe my estimate was off. It was a decent sized yard. The backyard was about so it was a double lot. Let's just say it like that. So
Would you say it's a double wide?
no.
Okay.
Imagine a double lot. So a normal like house in like California, like the yard associated with that, take that and then add one more of those behind it without a house on it, and it's just like plants and stuff, like a yard.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I got
Yeah.
it. I got it.
Yeah, you guys got it.
So like maybe a tree.
There's a couple trees. There's some cacti. He
Did they
actually had
have,
a lot of like fruit trees and stuff.
Did they have weed plants? That's legal, right?
I think it is legal to grow weed in Oakland or in California in general, but they were like very, very anti-smoking or weed in general. And
The hosts, you mean?
yes, yeah, and it was just a weird thing for me, really, because they're in a legal state, and I would think that they'd be like at least like, oh, okay, yeah, just smoke in the backyard. But they were like, no smoking, do not smoke.
All right. So in San Francisco, do you have to wear a mask while you're smoking?
They actually sell masks with little holes in them for the joint. That's not real, but no. But I asked. We went to a dispensary while we were there, and I asked the guy at the counter, like, "Hey, man, I'm not like from here. Can you just like smoke wherever?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, man, just don't like do it in front of the cops or kids, and you're fine." I was like, "Okay."
Don't do it in front of the cops or the kids.
So that means it's not legal.
It didn't seem very legal based on his
It's
description.
like, oh no, man, you can drink anywhere you want. Just put it in this paper bag.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. But anyways, so He was like, do not smoke. Do not smoke. And Jimmy and I were both like, I'm going to smoke. So we go into the backyard or go into the front yard or wherever, and we were just smoking it up, just really chiefing it. And we were just having a good time, man. It was legal in California, and we had to go and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like going to Amsterdam, I guess. I don't really know what you mean.
It's very on brand though for you and Jimmy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
So speaking of doing things in public that people say is probably fine, but it's probably not actually fine. It reminds me of a time that I went to Atlanta to a Falcons game, and I warned my father that I drink when I go to sporting events, and he didn't actually believe me. But then we're getting ready to go to a restaurant, and I had powered down probably 6 pints of Guinness, which I was real into Guinness at the time. We get onto the road, and we're walking by a cop, and I've just got openly a can of Guinness in my hand drinking. And the cop's like, come on, man, you can't do that. Like, what? Really? He's like, yeah, you know better. Come on, you're not a Saints fan. Like, this isn't New Orleans. He's like, you could at least put that in a paper bag or try. I was like, oh, can I finish it? He was like, yeah, man, you can finish it. So I just power it down. He's like, all right, my man. I threw it in the trash can.
That's a cop that knows what's up.
Pretty much. So would you say that was a similar experience to you just walking down the side of the road?
I mean, kinda. Yeah, we were power chiefing,
just chiefing it up, walking around.
Yeah, we had these. They sell these mini joints. They're like half joints. They're like half gram instead of gram or 2 gram or whatever. But they sold those, and I was like, perfect. That's quick smoke. We'll just chief it up, be done. We're good. And that's basically what happened. We just did one of those, and it was funny because we were thinking, okay, we'll do it quick, no problem. Well, we did one, and then we just did another one, and there's no difference.
Is it weird that when I imagine a place that is known for smoking weed, like San Francisco or Amsterdam, in my mind, everyone that you talk to has weed on them and could give you weed.
And it's just blitzed?
Well, not necessarily, but everyone's a drug dealer. So you walk up to this lady pushing her baby in a stroller on the street, and you're like, hey, can I buy some weed? And she's like, yeah, sure, I got some here. And then she just hands it out, and it's just a happy transaction because it's something that everybody does. And I'm sure that that's not actually the way it is. It's just the way my mind makes the connections.
I mean, honestly, I kind of thought the same thing. I thought that at the show, there were definitely going to be people with just it was going to be, the Resident Evil 4, fucking merchant guy that's like, what are you buying? And just he opens his jacket. There's just fucking drugs aplenty. But do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I can picture it. I don't know specifically what you're talking about, but
okay.
It's like the watch guy. Like, hey man, I got these watches.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. So that's kind of what I expected, and that was not the outcome. So anyways, we went to this dispensary, we got just way too much weed, and we had to dispose of quite a bit of it before we came back because it would be very bad and illegal to have that here. So we didn't take anything back with us.
So were you like Johnny Weedaseed, just spreading it around Oakland?
What is Johnny Weedaseed?
Like Johnny Appleseed, but with weed.
I got it.
Yeah,
I liked
just planting it all over the place for the children.
Well, no,
I think that's probably the wrong move.
Not for the children.
I think that my thought process around everybody being a drug dealer in these types of places sort of began when I was younger and went with my dad used to do business trips every winter to New York City, and a couple of different times he took the family with him, and those were really the only times that I visited New York City, but I've always been into like movies, and I had, before one of our trips, read about the fact that you could like buy bootleg DVDs in Chinatown. And so I just imagined that Chinatown was just this like cesspool of debauchery where you could just go and get whatever you wanted whenever you wanted it. And I just thought that I was going to be able to buy bootleg DVDs from everyone. And one of my most memorable parts of this trip was seeking out bootleg DVDs in Chinatown. And the way it worked, because you can't just go openly ask people like, hey, do you have the movie that just came out in the theater last Friday on DVD? So I kind of started it out by observing, and I had read some stuff before we went, so I had a little bit of a strategy. And we would walk down the street, and under my breath, kind of like looking down at the ground, not making eye contact with anybody, as I walked past people, I would say, DVDs? DVDs? And we were going all through Chinatown looking for these DVDs, and somebody heard me, and they said, you said DVD? DVD? Ah, you police? I said, no.
I'm 12.
So I'm there with my parents. Like, they are with me and know exactly what I'm doing. And the guy asks for police. We say no. He's, follow me. And so we've walked through this shop, and they're selling like these tapestries, and they've got these like rugs and curtains and things hanging from the ceiling. And we go through all these different little like back rooms, and he's like pulling curtains back and moving us through. And like, we're going through this maze where we'll never be able to get back out the way we came in. And I'm pretty sure this is how like abductions start, like human trafficking.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is how people get trafficked right here.
But for us, like at this point, in for a dime, in for a dollar. Like, we were all in on getting these bootleg DVDs. So we get to this back room, and there's this like ancient, wise-looking Chinese lady who has like these folios of DVDs.
What? May I present you with my wares?
And so I looked through the selection, and like some of the movies had legitimately just come out like the night before, and the DVDs are like they're screen printed on the disc where it like looks kind of legitimate. And I remember specifically some of them said DVD-9, and I've always been in like super into media, and like the DVD-9 was like the full-fledged like DVD versions, dual layer disc basically. And so I bought like I spent like my whole souvenir budget on bootleg DVDs. I bought 8 or 10 of these bootleg DVDs, and part of it was just for the novelty of it, but part of it was also I've always had just this thought process that I need to figure out a way to just make money however I can. So I'm going to take these bootleg DVDs back to where I live, and I'm going to make copies of them, and I'm going to sell them at the flea market. And I'm going to have the in, because I was in New York City. And so I buy a bunch of these bootleg DVDs, and I didn't have a DVD player with me, and there wasn't one in the hotel room. So, you know, for the rest of the trip, I'm just like, can we please go home so I can check out these bootleg DVDs? And we get home, and like 3 of the movies, man,
oh no,
just like the camera is clearly in the theater, and like you're watching the movie and they see somebody coming and they like move the camera, and so for like 3 or 4 minutes you're just looking at like somebody's leg. And the audio is really terrible, and it's just really, really bad. One of them was like really, really, really good quality, and then a few of them just like didn't work at all. They were just like, gotcha.
They were probably not region coded for America.
Oh, but I had a region free Blu-ray.
Of course you did.
Or DVD player at the time.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
I've never heard that story before. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I love that your parents were just like, "It's fine. We can.
Yeah,
We'll go search for legal DVD."
I think their thought process was like, they know me well enough to know that I'm probably going to figure out a way to do it anyway, and there are worse things that I could be doing, so it's fine. But that's just like, I associate New York with bootleg DVDs in Chinatown and Broadway shows, and like that's what I remember from New York.
Is that not all of New York? Is that not everything?
No, I mean you got fake Rolexes and dice games, but
right, and like gems. That's what I know.
Basketball in Rucker Park, chess at Central Park.
I think it's Central Park. Yeah.
The Statue of Liberty.
Right.
Niagara Falls. Is that New York?
That's technically Canada, I think. It's not in New York City, that's for sure. It's certainly upstate.
Okay. Well, either way, I just wanted to give some context as to why I thought that everyone that you encountered in San Francisco was a drug dealer.
I mean, I was kind of almost hoping for it. I was like, it was like that optimism thing where if you imagine it, it's just going to happen, and it really didn't. So
yeah, you didn't put enough of the positive energy out in the world to get it on back.
That's true.
So did you just walk around whispering like drugs,
Mary Jane,
PCP? No, not PCP.
Oh no!
Oh my, that escalated quickly.
All right, so we've kind of danced around this a little bit, and now we've been talking for over half an hour, and we haven't really heard like how was the main show.
It was great.
All right,
I'm glad you flew literally all the way across the fucking country and like had this big trip, and the best description you can give for our loyal audience is it was great.
The show was very, very good. So all of the acts that played were really pretty rock solid. It was a 2-day festival, but they play the same thing day 1 and day 2. They play the same acts in the same order and everything.
Did you know that going into it?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So we only went to day 1, which I personally would prefer to go to day 2, but Jimmy was definitely of the mind that we need to go to day 1 so that, it's the most raw, I guess, and it's not practiced and everything like that, which, I mean, I can see his thing, but there were a couple acts where their sound was just kind of whack. Like Porter Robinson's, first half of his act, the mic kept going into like this weird feedback noise, and his piano was not working 100% of the time, and it was just a little scuffed. And one of the acts called Knower had their mics like way out of balance. It was a female singer, and she was super quiet, and every time the guy came on to sing or say anything, it was like just fucking ear blasting you, and so that was a little unpleasant. And actually I went in to listen to some of their stuff after the fact, and they're actually pretty great, but their show was just so off that it was not ideal as far as that kind of stuff goes. But overall, very, very good experience. And actually, when we went to another show the day after, that was like an after party kind of thing, and that was also really, really cool. So, I mean, the music part of the trip was great, and the rest of it was really, really good too. I mean, just seeing San Francisco for the first time was awesome, and we did some of the touristy stuff and some of the not touristy stuff, and just overall, it was really, I mean, it's a very cool city. There are definitely some downsides to San Francisco and Oakland, but luckily we ran into very few of those downsides, even though they did come up a couple times. So
I guess that's something you can't talk about based on the fact that you just called it downsides and you're not telling us any more information.
So there may or may not have been a couple confrontation moments with homeless crackheads.
Yeah? Did you fight any of them?
I almost had to. There was I don't know how much of this I can actually talk about, but we were on the train, and there was one guy that was like in and out of something. Man, he was half asleep, and he had spilled all of his cookies all over the floor on the train. And I had looked down at the cookies at one point, and he like...
Please tell me you didn't try to eat the homeless crackhead's cookies.
I did not. Nor did I know that he was homeless or a crackhead at the time. But he kind of woke up from his slumber and looked over at me and just started screaming at me and just talking about his fucking cookies and how I was a bitch and he was going to fuck me up because I fucked up his cookies.
You should have gone full Arnold and just been, put that cookie down.
I mean, it was, I was just ignoring him, but I was like, man, I'm not in a state to get into fisticuffs on this train in Oakland, California with this crackhead. Like, I don't have the crackhead strength, and he clearly does. So, that was one of the times. And actually there's another time that a very similar thing happened, but this was in the train station. And, this guy walked up to Jimmy and just went off on him for no reason, just unprovoked, just started screaming at Jimmy. And Jimmy walked up to me. Jimmy is probably 5'9", 5'10", and about 105 pounds. So he's a small boy. I am not. I'm a pretty big boy. And he walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, this guy's actually screaming at me. Can you like help me out here?" So I had to like escort him away from this crackhead that's screaming about how he's gonna get raped in prison and that kind of shit. So it was a weird time for a couple of those occasions. But
I got to tell you, this sounds like such a lovely city, and definitely somewhere that I would want to go pay like $6,000 a month for a 700 square foot bungalow to live.
I mean that was kind of my thought too. I was like, I guess shout out to the Californians, but you guys are fucking crazy.
Dude, I don't know why anyone wants to live in California.
Like,
I love San Diego.
The weather is
vagina.
so nice.
A whale's vagina.
The weather is so nice. While we were there, it was like 60 degrees, nice gentle breeze, pretty low on the humidity scale, and
no drinkable water. Everything's on fire.
You're probably going to fall into the Pacific Ocean at any moment.
Yeah, besides those things, it was great.
You feel a little tremor in the ground. That's just normal.
Yep.
I mean, so where we are, there is very, very little chance that we're going to get yelled at or accosted by a crackhead on the way home. And I'm okay with that. I'll deal with a little bit more humidity and a little bit more heat in order to, not to mention that the housing market is about a tenth of the price of what it is in Oakland.
Which is crazy because it's on fire here right now. Not literally like California, but like the housing market, it is so tough.
You know something weird? So earlier you were talking about going into the dispensary and buying weed, and you mentioned that over in San Francisco they have these masks with little holes in them for the joints to go in.
Yeah.
That made me think of yesterday I watched an unboxing video. Do you know what one of those is?
I do. I'm familiar.
I watched an unboxing video for a mask.
Was it the Razer mask?
No, it's the new Apple mask.
Oh, God.
It's legitimately like Apple has designed a mask in Cupertino and it's manufactured in China. And
China.
Because of course it is.
Yes. And they have this whole fancy unboxing thing, and it's pretty crazy. But did you guys see any of the historic San Francisco landmarks, such as maybe the house that Full House was filmed in, or the Golden Gate Bridge, or the little train things that go up and down the hill, or like the Rice-A-Roni factory or anything like that?
Or The Rock?
Yeah, Alcatraz.
So I did not.
Alcatraz?
So one of my main things that I wanted to see while I was there was Alcatraz. Like, I wanted to go out there. I wanted to take a tour of the island. Like, that was my cool thing to do. And we did not do that, which I was very sad about. But I did see it from about as close as you can be without being at the rock or in the ocean. And man, it's really weird how beautiful it is. It is like obviously a prison with some pretty nefarious roots, but holy shit. Just if you're on a clear day and you're at Fisherman's Wharf looking towards, the rock, it's real pretty. It's just awe-inspiring. So check it out. But yeah, we did that. We saw the cable cars, that kind of stuff. That was cool.
Cable cars, that's what those are called.
Yeah,
Yep,
cable cars.
little
the
trains that go
trolleys.
up and down the hills. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
We actually rode one of them, which was pretty sweet. But
Did you run and jump onto it while it was in motion? Like they
No.
show in the TV shows?
no, I think that's illegal. But
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Man, it's such a common occurrence in entertainment.
I didn't see anything while I was there that.
Did you see anybody attached to the back while on rollerblades holding onto the bumper?
I did not.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but beyond that,
That's called skitching.
Yeah, it is. It is. I learned that from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. We saw the Golden Gate Bridge.
You're so
and-
proud of that.
Yeah, you really are.
Josh has this huge shit-eating grin on his face right now. Like, I knew that.
Look at me, I know hip things.
Sick fucking Austin Powers reference. What was that?
That's exactly what it was.
I'm pretty sure Skitchin was a game on the Sega Genesis. I think.
I don't think that's true.
We're gonna look it up. I'm gonna have our facts guy look it up real quick. But yeah, it's a thing. Skitchin is a 1994 racing video game developed
damned.
and published by Electronic
no
Arts for the Sega Genesis. How about that, motherfucker?
You nailed that, bud.
You
I think
come
that's
up with like the weirdest facts in the world, and
And they're always right, because that's the thing about facts. Facts don't care about your feelings, Rob.
you. Do you think EA just let you buy this game, or did you have to buy it in pieces like you do every other EA game now?
No, this is before like add-on content. They hadn't figured out that business model yet. Skitchin was actually a really fun game. That's the reason this game is the reason that I know what Skitchin is. It's literally the entire game is you're like trying to catch on the back of cars and like not get squished by other cars, and you have to switch from one car to another car, and like it's almost like it's in a weird way it's kind of like Frogger, but you're on rollerblades, and like it's the same type of game, but it's really cool. March 1994, Sega Genesis. I played a lot of this game. Played it a lot.
What was the rollerblading movie that took place in Cincinnati? Is it Airborne? That sounds maybe right.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Oh man, that was a hallmark moment of my childhood.
I was thinking of Jet Set Radio Future, if you guys know what that is.
Yeah, this is absolutely what it is. Yeah, kid moves from California to Cincinnati, and they have like a race.
Jack Black.
It's Seth Green was in this. Yeah.
I've never seen this.
Oh, it's real good.
Well, I have to check it out.
You will. It is a fruit booter's delight.
So before I derailed us into this whole skitchin and rollerblading conversation, Rob was saying something about trolleys.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, the Golden Gate Bridge.
So the Golden Gate Bridge is one of those things that, to me, anyway, maybe other people are different about this, but I was like, okay, this is a bridge. It's in California. It's very famous. Whatever. People travel over it. Who cares?
Wow. Way to downplay the architectural marvel that is the Golden Gate Bridge.
So I went to go see it, and my mind immediately changed. It's pretty awe-inspiring. It's one of those things that you have to kind of like see in real life to really, truly get it, I think. But
That was the Grand Canyon for me. Like, honestly, just hearing people talk about the Grand Canyon and seeing pictures, it's just like, okay, it's a big hole in the ground.
right.
And then you go there and it's like, holy shit.
That's a big fucking hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would take several years to dig by hand.
Several years.
That would have to take like at least 3 afternoons. Like,
Oh, no. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Josh.
So Corey and I went to the bar and we got a little bit tipsy, I'd say. Maybe borderline drunk. And as we were leaving, I had this epiphany, and I told Corey, and this really kind of took me back to our first episode where you're talking about sexy emojis.
Okay, sure.
And I said, Corey, I think what I'm going to do when I get home, I've got this like HP color laserjet printer thing that is pretty new, and I've been looking for reasons to use it. So I think what I'm going to do is blow up the eggplant emoji and then the little water splash emoji. And I'm going to print these things out, and then I'm going to print out these big arrows and like lead a trail from where my wife is clearly already home asleep to where I will be laying in wait.
Oh my God. This is why you did this. You got a new printer.
It's a part of the reason why.
And you guys were drunk and you were like, this is a good idea.
This was a good idea. So I printed 2 copies of the eggplant emoji and 2 copies of the 3 water droplet emoji on separate pieces of paper. And I placed one of each outside of the door of the room that she was sleeping in. And then I printed 30 copies of this just like giant arrow. And I made a trail to another room, a spare room where we have a bed. And I didn't want to wake her up because I was getting home very late. So I was going to sleep in that bed. So I did this arrow path to where I was going to be. And then I left another eggplant emoji with another 3 water splashy emoji and my shorts and underwear just right there. And then
my God.
Just from there, I just laid down, passed out, and hoped that she was going to wake up before the kids. And then also hope that she gets the message, and also hope that she thinks it's funny, and also hope that it works. And all of those things happened.
Did you know that eggplants are called eggplants basically only in America?
Are they called Cavendish eggplants somewhere else?
No, they're called aubergines.
Aubergines?
Aubergines.
Big Mike aubergines.
Big Mike aubergines. I need that Big Mike aubergine energy.
I like that. So why is it called an aubergine? That's just the name of it?
It's like a weird like English thing.
Can you give me the
English
country of
isn't
origin
American.
for aubergine?
Fucking not America.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure. I know that they do that in the UK, and I think if you ask for an eggplant in like most of the EU, which most of them speak English, they'll probably kind of know what you're talking about. But you'll automatically reveal yourself as
haha,
American.
silly American.
Yeah, this is aubergine.
It is British in origin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar to pineapple. You know that pineapple in like every other language is not fucking pineapple?
Is it apple bin?
No.
Pineapple bin.
No.
Oh.
No. It's ananas.
Ananas. Like a bananas without the B.
Banana without the B.
It always astounds me the depth of your knowledge of random etymology.
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of my thing. I know just a little bit about just about everything. So it makes it seem like I'm really smart, but I'm fucking not.
I'm actually looking a little bit deeper into this aubergine thing. It apparently came from Sanskrit.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
It's the original written language. Sanskrit.
It's Sanskrit.
Yeah. Sanskrit to Persian to Arabic to Catalan, then French, then British. So once again, France loses to Britain.
Mm.
Hey, you should tell us about Peter Dante and his cameo that you keep trying to get made.
All right. So to tell this story, we got to go back to NFTs. Do you remember what NFTs are, Rob?
Non-fungible tokens.
I know
almost said
they're
something else for F.
They're made on the blockchain.
Where are they verified, Rob?
The blockchain.
It's on the blockchain.
Remember earlier when Rob was saying that he knows a little bit about everything, and it just enough to make him sound smart?
There you go.
That's it.
That's it.
Verified
they're
on the
made,
blockchain.
They're verified on the blockchain.
All right. So, in regards to Peter Dante, I have been a part of an NFT project for a while now. There's a project out there called SportsIcon, and it is spearheaded by a guy named Chris Worsey out of the UK. Shout out, Chris. And I found out about this project because at the time it was sort of in the peak of the NBA Top Shot, like parabola, like when it was at its highest point. And I was following Roham's Twitter account, who is the head of Dapper Labs and NBA Top Shot and all that, because they had some other stuff coming down the pipeline. Like there was supposed to be a Dr. Seuss NFT project and a UFC NFT project and all this other stuff that I wanted to get ahead of because I wanted to just make a ton of money. And actually, I'm not only following him on Twitter, I also turned on his notifications. So for those of you who are not familiar, if you want to try it out, go ahead and follow the Appleboys Pod Twitter account. And there's a little bell icon that you can click on to turn on the notifications. And every time we tweet from that account, you'll get a notification that comes on your phone and lets you know that we've put out something great on Twitter. And I had turned on notifications for Roham's Twitter account. And he tweeted about some super secret NFT project that was coming out, and it involved Pelé. That was the only clue. And I only knew who Pelé was because I'm not a soccer fan at all, but I knew who Pelé was because my dad's dog, when he was a teenager's name was Pelé, because my dad played soccer in high school and college and was a huge Pelé fan. And Pelé the dog was this like state champion frisbee-catching dog. And Corey,
Buddy, how have you not told me about your state champion frisbee-catching dog?
it wasn't my dog; it was my dad's dog.
Yeah, but still, it's a family story. How has this never come up?
I have to save some stuff for new episodes, right?
My goodness.
So my dad has this dog that can catch a frisbee really well.
Did he do halftime shows?
He was on the front page of the state newspaper.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
The front page
Yeah. Like the headline story.
Like
of the state?
Yeah, the State is the name of the newspaper in South Carolina.
So, was this when he won the state championship? Or was this just like, check out this dog?
No, it was when I don't know. I wasn't alive then.
He didn't have this framed?
I mean, I've seen it.
What kind of dog was it?
Obviously a collie.
Yeah. I almost said golden retriever, but that's not right. It was
Yeah,
collie.
no, definitely a collie.
Is that the kind that like
It's like Lassie.
Lassie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I knew who Pelé was because of my dad's dog.
Here's dad's state champion frisbee catching dog.
Correct.
Don't leave out the details.
Awesome dog, apparently. I never really got to know Pelé the dog except through lore and legend. But because of that, I had asked my dad where the name came from. He had told me about Pelé, the legendary soccer player or footballer, as they call it in Ted Lasso. And
And around the world.
Yeah, and everywhere else except America.
And so there was this type form thing that you could click into and fill out this waiting list where you could like get advanced notification about this secret Pelé project. And I figured if Roham is involved in it, then I probably want to be involved in it too, because that probably means it's going somewhere. So I immediately click into this type form, fill out the survey thing, and submit it. And I get an email the next day that I am part of a group that they called the Eagle Eyes. So apparently I saw this thing. I was one of the first 200 people to see it and respond to it. And so I'm in this secret group of people who are getting advanced access to this project. And anyway, skip past the beginning and into the meat of the story a little bit. The Pelé thing fizzled out. It never happened. So there was some sort of contractual issue with Pelé, and he ended up like making his own NFT on some other platform, and it looked like the project was going to die. I was super disappointed, and nothing happened in Discord for a really long time. But then they came out with this NFT token that they called a founders token. And the founders tokens, they only made 250 of them. They minted for like $80 a piece. And I ended up buying 2 of them because for whatever reason, I still believed that this project was going to go somewhere at some point. And I wasn't sure like where it was going because there really wasn't much of a roadmap or anything like that. But again, I had listened in Discord to some of the team members talk about like where they saw the project going at some point, and the fact that they had, they've actually got some pretty big name investors involved in the project. So in addition to Roham, Nas, the rapper, invests in this project.
Jesus.
And Andrew Bogut, which is a NBA champion winning player, formerly from the Golden State Warriors, San Francisco.
Australian.
Yeah, he is an Australian fella. Has pretty strong opinions about the coronavirus and masks and things like that. So,
oh no.
Yeah, there are a few other like pretty big name investors involved in the project, and so I decided to go ahead and buy 2 of these founders tokens. And then I just kind of sat on them because again, nothing happened with the project for quite a while, and I tried to be active in the Discord for a long time, but there just wasn't a lot going on. It's hard to pay attention to it if there's no movement or anything like that. And then one of the things that's been happening in the NFT world is that there are these projects that they call Generative Art Projects. And so the way it works is they have this art. So we've talked before about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So that's an example of this. So you have the baseline, which is the ape, and then let's say there are 20 traits or characteristics, and it may be the way the eyes look, the color of the fur, the way the mouth looks, any accessories, the color of the background, et cetera, et cetera. And when you mint the NFT, the traits that exists are randomly generated into some sort of combination, and it creates the NFT, and so it's unique to you and looks different than everybody else's. And so
all of this is verified on the blockchain.
All of this is verified on the blockchain. That's true. And so the generative art projects have been called PFP projects, or profile picture projects, because it's sort of a status symbol online when you have a rare NFT that's from one of these PFP projects. And the SportsIcon group came up with this Lion Club NFT thing. And so they have this generative art project where you mint these lions, and having a lion basically makes you a part of the Lion Club. And over time, membership in the club. So for example, one of the things that's happened so far is if you hold one or more of the lions, you were able to get onto a private Zoom call with Luis Figo, which is a famous retired footballer from somewhere in Europe. Again, I'm not a big soccer fan, so I certainly haven't followed that very well. In addition to things like Zoom calls with famous athletes and things like that, membership is also potentially going to be able to grant you access to live sporting events. So it can get you into like a Lion Club box at a game or things like that. And so there's all these real world utilities that can come with it. And that was very, very interesting to me. So because I held 2 of the founders tokens, I got 2 lions for that. And then I minted another 2. So I hold 4 of these lions. And these projects are popping up everywhere because you've got things like CryptoPunks and the Bored Ape Yacht Club and things like that are worth such crazy amounts of money. Everybody is trying to capitalize on the frenzy in the marketplace, and everybody's trying to come up with their own ideas for this kind of stuff. And
like Pogs.
Yeah, like Pogs, like my idea with Pogs. That's fair. You know, that's part of what I was trying to do there.
People are trying to capitalize on the frenzy, huh?
Yeah, and part of the way you capitalize is you create FOMO, or fear of missing out. And the way you do that is you get everybody who's in the community to start tweeting about it and hyping it up and just trying to build it up. And a lot of these things are just pump and dump situations. So it's one of those things where you're just trying to get it up, and then sell at the high point, and then who cares who gets screwed by it. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important to kind of look at the utility behind the projects you're investing in, or whether the art is something that speaks to you in a way that if it weren't worth anything, you'd still want to have it because of the way it makes you feel, or whatever, any sort of reason that you may have to invest in one of these things. But just buying it and hoping to turn around the next day and sell it for 5 times what you bought it for is just not going to be a long-term winning strategy, even if it works out every once in a while that way. So I was thinking that one way that we could potentially help spread the word about the Lion Club, which would help increase the desire to have Lion Clubs, which would therefore increase the value, would be to maybe find a way to go viral. And I was thinking about, like, how do you make these lions go viral? And I was like, well, Peter Dante likes lions. So I went on Cameo, and Peter Dante's on there. And I sent him a message and, like, basically hired him to do this Cameo. And for those of you who don't know, Cameo is like this app where you pay a celebrity to record a special message for you or for someone else. And what I was trying to get him to say was something to the effect of, hey, congratulations on selling out the Lion Club NFT project, because they sold out all 10,000 lions. And then something from Grandma's Boy, where he's talking about, he's in the basement. He's talking about the lions coming next week. And one of the things he says, the other guy says, well, why don't you just get a dog? And Dante says, bro, you can get past a dog, but nobody fucks with a lion. And so what I was trying to get him to say was, bro, you can get past a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape, but nobody fucks with a Lion Club. And I just thought that would be a really neat way to, like, tie in pop culture along with the NFT, and specifically attack the 2 most popular ones, so that those guys would get defensive and start, like, paying it some attention. And, like, all press is good press, right? And so Dante's on tour right now. He's doing some sort of comedy tour, and I submitted it. And once you submit a Cameo, the celebrity has 7 days to respond. And so they charge you for it up front. They hold your funds, whatever. And then if the celebrity lets it expire, then they release the funds back to you. So the first time that I hired Dante for this Cameo, I was pretty excited about it. And then days went by, and then, 2 days turned into 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and I'm really starting to get worried. And then finally, what I was afraid would happen did happen, and it expired, and he didn't do it, and I was pretty bummed out. But then 2 days later, I get an email, and it's like a message through the Cameo app from Dante that basically said, hey, I'm sorry that I let your thing expire. I really want to do it. Please resubmit it. And it gave me an option to resubmit the Cameo. And so I pretty much immediately did. Like, within an hour of him sending that message, I had resubmitted this Cameo request exactly the same way.
So I've been thinking about this since you've been telling this story. Do you think maybe that was just a bot?
No.
You think Peter Dante?
It was in his voice.
Yeah.
Like,
he was like, oh, fuck yeah, bro.
It wasn't a recorded message, but you could tell, like, either someone from Cameo is impersonating Peter Dante in the way that they're writing, or it's Peter Dante.
Oh, man, I fucked up. I let it expire. Could you please resubmit it? I'd like to really fucking do it, bro. We'll go to the loony bin together.
Yeah.
So when you do a Cameo, you can choose to make it private or public. And if you make it public, then after he delivers it to you, it also goes up on his Cameo page where other people can see the Cameo he made for you. And so the first one expires. I get this message like a day later. Within an hour of getting the message, I resubmit it and pay for it again and everything like that. And within like 2 hours of that, a new video pops up on his Cameo for this happy birthday to some other person. And he specifically says in the video, "I'm sorry I let this expire." And then the Cameo goes like twice as long as a Cameo normally goes. And he like sings this custom happy birthday song to her and all this stuff. Like, it's very thoughtful, very on brand for Peter Dante. And this happened like, so I got the message that, hey, I messed up. I missed it. I resubmitted an hour later. 2 hours after that, he submits this Cameo. So he's clearly on the app, right? And then I'm really excited now. So like, this is going to happen tonight. I got to wait my turn, right? And then the night goes on and it doesn't come through. And I'm like, man, that's a real bummer. I was expecting this to happen tonight. And then one day turns into two turns into three turns into four. And now it's expired again, man. Like 2 different times Peter Dante has let my Cameo expire. And so
I would just resubmit that shit until he responds.
Well,
just indefinitely.
One of the problems, and it's not a big deal because it's only $5, but it's a principle thing, kind of like paying $5 for pizza delivery when they're right around the corner. His Cameo price after I submitted the initial one went up by $5. And when you rebook it, like if they message you and give you the option to rebook, you rebook it at the original price. And I haven't gotten that rebook message again. So for me to rebook it now, I have to start from scratch and create a brand new one. I got to pay $5 more. I'm just not sure that I want to do that and set myself up for disappointment once again.
And a detail you may have left out is that his profile has exactly 69 reviews.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that, actually.
Oh, man.
I had this theory that I told Corey about, that maybe he has stopped making Cameos because he doesn't want to get any more reviews because he's at exactly 69. But I really do think that theory kind of got blown up because that video, the happy birthday video, came up after the original. So I'm not sure.
That's fair.
And that's all I got to say about that.
What a way to close.
Well, that's a wrap on the show. We appreciate you guys being here and listening to us. Please check us out at www.appleboys.us. Hit up our Patreon at patreon.com/appleboys. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at appleboyspod. And make sure you join us in Discord. Turn on notifications. Don't miss out on any of our great content. Hope to have Jimmy back before the next time we record. And I think the best way for us to end this is the same way we always do. Happy tonight.
Happy tonight. Thank you so much.
Happy tonight.